Hi, this is Stan Becker reporting from Hunter Biden Open Border Venice, California on April 8th, Saturday morning. My fixed income $1,000 is almost gone for the month. So I'm getting Android warnings about the data and other restrictions. Actually, I go through this every month and I'm a little too embarrassed, way too embarrassed to admit it to you. And also, forget that. Forget that personal stuff. It stops my work. It stops the reportage because you're not getting reports from the real estate blogs, from the new Jamie Paige Westside Current, the new Linda Lux, Yo Venice, the Argonaut, all the homeless industrial complex poverty pimp apologists for the will never. This personal crucible is very difficult for me. Coming off of 500,000 views on 2 songs in less than a year, do you know? And this blacklisting and battering and eviction into a pandemic, homelessness. So 2.5 years. It's a pretty brutal, intentional thing that Meth Mike Bonin did. His entire political career is commensurate, 2012, with Horizon Health Action Coalition, Horizon Apartments LLC, the Venice Community Housing Corporation, the Collusion Circle, what became of his relationship with Dirty Roger Mahony, who had been sanctioned by the previous Holy Father in Rome for the pedophile protection racket and Biederman coercion chart, systemic technology of abuse that's so vicious that Cardinal Gomez called it brutal and painful, and it was much, much more than that. It was murderously cruel, mercilessly, brutally, Ed Buck cruel. And it continues, that paradigm continues with this collusion circle. We've got Wynwood Circle, we've got the Hotel Irwin, the hotel industry, okay. But the Surfside Cocaine Cartel right by the police substation, that's ignored. Jamie Paige, the new Julie Delmar, the new Argonaut, the new Mike Bravo Berg, Eric Alberg, Venice, Free Venice Beachhead, the cavalcade of arrogant, presumptuous Soledad, Ursua, Ira, Coslow, Linda Lux, demons we've had to deal with. All right, so, it's psychologically pretty destructive for me to be begging in the streets for food or coffee or put a sign on me and continue the shame. But, I have great faith and wisdom beyond my understanding and love for my Lord. And doing good, hard work. And I thank you very much for Horizon Health Action Coalition. Somehow has over 100,000 views, and Stan Becker Songs is considerably over 500,000 just on Mean and Restless Building Back a Better New Normal, which these media people killed. They killed my First Amendment rights. They killed, blacklisted, boondoggled. I can't being stopped from working in my essential business. And that's not going to happen because of you. And, so here's this thing. I don't know how much longer I can stay online or with you. I need to get to the studio. I have an awful lot of songs written. I need to get to my instruments. I need to get the information, this backstory out. 212, Myth Mike Bonin came into power purview after his filthy deals with Dirty Roger Mahony, and then that pedophile protection racket, Biederman coercion chart, vicious, demonic, cruel, brutal, cop hate spewing demon. Let's get Felicia Adams killing. He hires a slave to be Needle Beach Spike's model, then hundreds of millions into billions, unaccountable by tax money. But Venice deserves this. They deserve the rape murder culture. They're completely disconnected. They're willfully ignorant, disconnected. They got the free money from the pandemic, and they couldn't get evicted, and they got every little bell and whistle that the masters gave them, so they would continue to be feed their fat, artificially gentrified, conscienceless souls, and the rape murder culture that killed 76-year-old John in the street that we've been reporting upon. They've got the same drug house Becky Dennison, the same Valish Adams Kellen 400K, the same John Sharon 400K plus, Milsa Gallardo, Vera Vassal, the feet in the field, Dr. Renee Sapshin, Dr. Robin Kay, whoever they can hold on to for a minute and pretend that they're in charge of mental health, as Luskin dumps these people, these idiots, these stooges that churn out this poverty pimp, homeless, industrial complex, disconnected academic wackos, and we end up with blood in the streets and parading, pseudo artists, the Eric Alberg artists. I don't care about these people that don't get any views and to do shit music. It has nothing to do with me. It never did. It never did. I've never been a pay-to-play, and I've never had a little square, doing a dance for tourists, ever. I do something else. We want to thank the 600,000 people that are listening. We'll get to you in person. And we're going to have some fun.
Hunter Biden open border, artificially hyper-gentrified Silicon Needle Beach. Racist real estate reset. Poverty pimps and vicious wimps. Meth Mike Bonan's Venice. Discourtesy of Abby Sher Edgemar Catastrophe Liberty Hill Foundation honoree Steve Clare's Venice Community Housing Corporation and Drug House Becky Dennison. Horizon Apartments LLC 20-unit HUD HHH Boardwalk freebie, a mercilessly brutal, Ed Buck, African American quid pro quo death harvest. And violent stooge staff. Crack House Jack Hoffman Snapchat Market Street Dynamic Change Recovery Room Guru Predator Anonymous Narcissist, brokered the Horizon Apartments LLC sale. Pocketing hundreds of thousands in what turned out to be stolen tax funds, while partner, Venice V Hotel felon Carl Lambert, who, parenthetically, is protected by Puff Piece Princess, Jamie Paige. Minnesota latest climber for hire. Giving comfort to sexual predators at Dirty Roger Mahony's St. Joseph Homeless Staff Project Rape Key Cover-Up Sewer, lease partner in the collusion circle.
That's right, Jamie.
Crack House
Whiskey
Jack
and
Hoffman,
yoga girl.
Market Street Dynamic Change Recovery Room Guru Predator Anonymous Narcissist.
Leanie.
Brokered multi-millions to Venice Community Housing Corporation Carl Lambert, the fifth Venice Hotel felon Carl Lambert.
Marked to every racist.
In public money to felon Carl Lambert. Did I mention he was a felon? Hundreds of thousands in broker fees for Becky Dennison Boy, Jackie Lacey Hoffman, Eric Albert completion in a pseudo-progressive wet dream on Nauseous Island. Which also gives Steve Clare Esquire POS. And Linda Lux VNC Becky Dennison, a free bonanza building forever, right seaside on the world infamous Venice Beach Boardwalk. Property values extraordinarily rising is strategized. Silicon Needle Poverty Pimp Beach. Where the absolutely disgusting insurrectionist, pedo bondage soul killer, sex drug addict Hunter Biden can come to assume that all-encompassing quote-unquote art thing. Art is an activist art. Sex drug tourism activist art. So that a flash comic book meth addict millionaire elite pervert protector can parade gay baiting race baiting gender baiting reductionist crap to anyone immoral and irresponsible enough to ignore. The demographics relevant to the dead and crashed out. When the hyperbole and weaponized social media infected with fundraising pimps stops. Like here for a second. Outside of the ass-kissing memory hole Jamie Paige and Soledad Ursua Venice Neighborhood Council Brigade, for example. We see the mercilessly lonely and preventably damaged victims ignored. All that love, justice and compassion is pimp. Otherwise, of that much vaunted and promoted big project homeless solution, that was actually a strategized paradigm that expanded a diseased, predatory, unaccountable by tactic.
I'm not ashamed.
Mercilessly brutal Ed Buck subculture, hidden only thinly, behind yet another fascinating Jack Hoffman ego ride into brutal racism and theft.
Stan Becker
Hoffman
songs.
broker fee on multi-million-dollar property.
Music
Vicious
that matters.
rehabbing and new construction with stolen tax money for the poor
Music
that Jack
that
Hoffman,
matters.
Carl Lambert destroy from the north and south.
An essential business.
3 streets in a row past Windward Circle going north. Market Street, Horizon Avenue, Westminster Avenue. Jack Hoffman, narcissistic predator and Venice Design Series thefts.
Reassemble.
Market Street. Abbey Share Liberty Hill Foundation honoree Steve Clare and also on the sale document. Drug House Becky Dennison. Horizon Apartments LLC.
We
Horizon
praise.
Avenue. Felon Carl Lambert v. Venice Hotel and Waldorf Westminster Plaza Carl. Meth Mike Bone in Memory Hole Hustle.
Good morning.
Three
coffee.
names Venice Neighborhood Council predator protection racket real estate climbers will never utter, except to praise. Westside Current and Venice Neighborhood Council is. As in, actually, is. Venice Community Housing Corporation Hustle.
Oh, it's the
Linda
same
Lux
thing?
VNC living in Santa Monica Safety White assuring the Horizon
Hold
Apps
the phone.
LLC serial violence,
Literally.
staff sexual assaults and assault.
You mean it's the same thing? Venice Neighborhood Council, Venice Community Housing, Venice Family Clinic, Free Venice Beachhead. It's all pimp. Venice Art Crawl, Sunnybach, sexual assault, cover-up stooge, the pink hat women, the Women's Day women, there's not one Venice woman, not one pink-hatted progressive Venice woman who cares about the sexual assaults at Horizon Apartment LLC that they paid for and enforced others to, as they paraded and took pictures of themselves for caring.
Linda Lux VNC living in Santa Monica Safety White assuring the Horizon Apps LLC serial violence, staff sexual assaults and a suicide cluster that upset Gary Stewart in ways we'll explain this week.
Jamie Paige.
The Machiavellian hustle that sold dead Uslurpa, Soledad Ursua Orinoco Real Estate.
Sold dead.
Venice Neighborhood Council employees with lips clamped on drug house Becky Dennison Snow White Splain Batowski at that anti-Fent photo op with a Becky slave in tow for color. Soledad Ursua. Soledad Ursua. Orinoco Real Estate indecency is noxious as the mother of an overdose victim wept. News crews and their sold dead Uslurpa. And Soledad Ursua squeaky call.
Pisses me off the way they control the press, the way Valicia Adams Kellum leads the press around, like the dummies that they are. Where was I?
And Soledad Ursua squeaky calls for justice or something, but 60 seconds from her Horizon Apartment empowered meth units. That meth baby Melissa Diner, yet another Sephora nightmare property MGMT climber. Thinking Carl Lambert v. Venice Hotel felon Carl Lambert's rapist custodian is worthy of public praise. Soul dead Ursua, Jamie Paige, the Linda Lux VNC memory holes. Is as obvious as her annoying prattling squeak. Steve, Becky Linda, Valencia Adams Kellum. Felon Carl Lambert.
All right, well, hopefully that's done. And these 13 minutes together will have been an edifying experience. Now I'm going to run to the sea, try to get a cup of coffee, leave the world a man for a second, then come back.